Okay, so this next part of the video is focusing on the papers. So you will get all these paper samples sent to you so that you can feel them and hold them and understand what is it that you explain to the customers. Like I said earlier in the video, we can these premium invitations, we can change the paper. There's no limits to changing the papers from pearl to matte, etc. And these are completely customizable. The only exceptions are when there's a pre-foiled or pre-made effect or element on the invitation, such as this one, as explained. As another example, we've got this Our Wedding foil stamped onto that insert card. We can just as easily remove this paper and replace it without the foiling and replace the paper of this, so they're not locked into using the word Our Wedding on top of this. All right, now the types of paper we have, the most common types of papers that we have samples of, so which is when the customer orders samples, they'll get these insert papers obviously with them, is these two types, which is a matte and a pearl paper, and the thickness is 200 GSM. GSM stands for grams per square meter. It's a general print industry terminology that printers use to measure the thickness of paper. As a comparison to everyday world, a business card thickness is 300 GSM. So these are just slightly thinner than business card thicknesses, basically. Some people will know what GSM is, some people won't. Some people might just refer to them as grams. So whenever say, what's the grammage of the paper or GSM, you can say that a standard grammage is 200 GSM. And those are the ones included in most of these samples. No, not all of them. Some have thicker paper, so the craft paper is 250 GSM, so it's a bit thicker than these two papers. But anyway, so what happens when the customer orders our samples? They're going to get automatically these two swatches. We have colors in here, so the customers would choose colors from here if they want to change the insert card as well, and they can opt in to change to other papers. And the other papers that we have is basically a matte paper. So this same matte paper that's here, that I showed you before, they can upgrade that to 300 GSM, which is a thicker card. So if, for example, the customer is bothered with the thinness of the paper, they might say, look, the insert paper is a little bit thin, it doesn't have any special element. Then we can definitely upgrade those to at least thicker paper. Obviously, we can do special elements like foiling, which I'll talk to you in the next video. But changing the paper is definitely possible to any of these that we have. Yeah. So I mean, we might have more standard papers. Right now, we have these ones here. So we have the 200 GSM pearl and matte. Again, the only difference in them is that pearl is a little bit metallic, gives you metallic-y tinge, and matte is just flat. It's just it's just matte. Matte is terminology people understand. Now, for the pearl paper, we only have 200 GSM at this very moment, so you can't upgrade the thickness to 300 GSM to a thicker paper on the pearl. For now, anyway, keep in the loop for future updates, and we will let you know when that changes. Right now, we can't upgrade this to 300. However, the matte paper, we can upgrade to 300 GSM. And there's no extra costs for that. Yeah, so it's a free update. We also have this. We call this a craft paper. So this is suited for rustic invitations and vintage and this sort of earthy looking colors, etc. So this is craft. This is 250 GSM. Now that's sort of a midway thickness. We don't have a thicker craft paper, but we also have this texturized paper. If I zoom in here, you might be able to see, and obviously when you get a sample, you'll be able to run your fingers on and feel the sort of not ribbed, but sort of more texturized feel to the paper. So this is called Tintoretto. That's an internal term as well. It's a type of paper. Now, we also have this paper here, which I'll pull out from this invitation. So when you get one, you'll be able to feel it yourself. This one we call ribbed. It's got a ribbed texture. There's a little rib ribbed sort of textures going vertically or horizontally up on the paper. So this one comes in cream. This is the cream color, and this one also comes in a white color. I don't have one here, but it's just basically cream is cream and white is white. So these are both 200 GSM. They don't come in a thicker stock at this very moment. Again, we might be upgrading those. There are these papers that are thicker and available. We just don't stock them as a standard paper. So what it means is, when we say stock paper as standard, that means that you can basically choose any of our premium invitations, as I've demonstrated before, and change the paper from pearl to matte. You can change it to sort of a ribbed paper or texturized paper, from cream to white. There's only one extra cost for these. So to interchange these papers, it's all free. The only extra cost would come into play if you go with this 300 GSM texturized paper. Yeah, so that one costs an extra, I think, 20 cents. You'll refer to my document for exact number. And that's the only time that the customers will be asked to pay more money. Yeah, so even if you're upgrading your 200 GSM matte to 300 GSM matte, there is no extra cost, and you can offer freely that whenever you're asked. Don't offer it randomly to everyone during chat, because it is a little bit more expensive. We're just absorbing the cost at the moment, so no need to raise that. But if you get any customer concerns about saying that the insert paper is a bit plain, it's a bit flimsy, you have different types, yes, we do. Most definitely, we have all these different types of paper, and you can change them all at virtually no cost, except if you opt into the 300 GSM, this one, the texturized paper, which is 20 cents. So that basically covers the paper components. So we'll send you these samples of paper to you. We might be adding new papers in a future, but for now, that is pretty much all there is that we stock and that we can freely exchange to these insert papers. So just like I said, so even though some of these have specific stocks, pearls and mattes, some of them are texturized. We can change that. We can interchange that. We're not locked in within the premium range. Now, when it comes to obviously these imported cards, again, because they're different sizes, there's different hand assembly things. So we really don't change. We can't change those, with the exception of few. So, for example, this invitation, I'll talk to you in a minute. We can replace the insert card of this paper, but then would need to remove this. There's an embossing here, which I'll talk to you about some of these specific invitations in a second. I'll leave this for now here, and then we'll talk to you about the back layer cards in the next video.